7 days of mud and shit. I have no idea how we got to this point. Well, I think it has something to do with Alfred. He decided that this is the safer path, the faster way to get to the end. In reality, at this time of year, in this season, it was muddy, it was hard, and it was horrible. The carts kept getting stuck, and everything was in muck. The mud seemed to be everywhere. The shoes, the pants, under clothing, in places that wish not to see the daylight. I did not enjoy that time. There was things about that forested area and the lands we crossed that made me nervous. Alfred, why are we doing this again? Why would you choose this shit for our trip? You know, it's a better path. We'll be safer if we go here. There will be less danger getting across. You don't think that the thieves and the robbers would come and get us from here? Well, I'd say if they do, we'll be sitting ducks. We'll be dying very quickly. How do you think we're going to defend ourselves from arrows if we get ambushed here? You can't run, you can't move fast, you can't get away. Oh, but boy, this route is still safer. They've been more active of late in the common roads. But here they never come here. I've used this way many times, my son. You haven't been with us before. It takes a bit longer. And yes, we have a bad weather, bad time. There's mud, but it's better than death. That was 3 days ago. 3 more grueling days. We travelled the road that was not even a road anymore. There was no way of hiding tracks. Everyone could follow us from a longer distance. The path was horrible and the absolute worst time I've ever had. Several caravans, I've guarded them before, helped get across lands, sandy, windy, snowy, but this took the cake by a mile. I was getting angrier and angrier, and standing here 3 days after that conversation, in even more rain. The rain had come, and we were stranded. For how long? I do not know. But there was no chance we would be able to move forward for a time. So we found the driest area we possibly could, a small hill. It wasn't entirely muddy. Still, couldn't get away from the muck. Couldn't get a distance. If we wanted to do anything, there wasn't any dry wood. Fires were hard to make, and we had to keep them up all day, all night. And in that hill I knew we would be spotted, and easily. 3 days later, 3 days of being stranded, and yes, another 3 days. We did finally move on. Predictably, a cart of ours got stuck. Not long after, only a few hours of travel. And when we were trying to dig it out, I noticed our horses were nervous. That was never a good sign. So I started looking around into the forest, into the surroundings. Something just didn't quite seem right. What should we do? The first arrow took Alfred in the shoulder. The second took John in the stomach. The third missed everyone. The fifth killed Jackie. He's young, 13 summers. He didn't deserve that end, but here we are. I took cover immediately. Shouted for the others to do the same. Take cover! Not everyone listened, and more fell. Somewhere around in that, something hit me from behind. An arrow scraped my temple, and I passed out. Woke up 3 days later, alone in that muck. Sorry. Yeah, I think it was 3 days. In truth, I'm simply using the 3 days because I don't know how long I was passed out. Everything in the mud, it was hard to tell. Oh, I got lucky. I went face first into the muck. And I didn't bleed out because of the mud. Kind of worked. Left an ugly scar. Nothing was left behind except the bodies. I tried not to look. It was too difficult. In my cowardice, in my fear, I didn't dig graves. I left the bodies there and left, running into the forest. I had my sword, took a bow that had been left behind, a few arrows I found from the bodies. Getting them out wasn't easy. I almost puked, almost passed out, but I did get it done eventually. And so we are, now in the forest alone, hoping to find a way, somewhere. Safety, I guess. Food is a priority. The forest is not a nice place to be alone. Not that part. It didn't take me long to get into a better one. It was drier. Trees were taller. I could see a distance. Leaves covered the forest floor. It was quite pleasant. It smelled like decay and new life, both at the same time. Traversing that forest wasn't the most enjoyable time I'd had, but it was better than the muck. But the heaviness in my chest, heaviness in my heart and soul, from what I've lived through, what I'd survived, its weight on me, like a hand held by a mountain. I didn't know what to do, but it was alright. I was still alive, and it was more than the others. I didn't think I deserved it. I got lucky. But I traversed the woods for several days alone, hunted small game. It was at least something I could do. I used to live in a small farm. I can still remember the moments when my father and grandfather taught me how to hunt. Oh boy. Little Valder. You're still holding the bow wrong. I've taught you many times. Hold it better. Hold it like I taught you. There you go. Now try again. Those were precious moments from my past. Moments I cherished beyond belief. But those were the things that got me through in that forest. Got me to the other side. I found a road and followed it, eventually, and traversed my way to a town. In the town, walking up to the gate, it was quite quiet. Usually at that time of the day there would be a line At least I thought they would be. In most places they were. But when I got to the guards, they didn't ask anything. So instead I did. Who can I talk to who's in some position of leadership? Young man, well, you can give your papers of passage if you have them, and then I can get you the sergeant, and you can talk to him, and he will be able to help you with anything you need. Papers? Oh, I think I have them somewhere here. Just give me a moment. Oh, here they are. There you go. Thank you, son. Alright. Sergeant! Yes, soldier. There's someone who wants to talk with you. Alright. Give me a moment. I'll need to get things done here first. And so I waited. 5 minutes, in fact. It wasn't a long wait, but being in my head, dirty, and the condition I was in was not a pretty sight to see. Moments later, the sergeant arrived. So, what is it, son? What are you on about? Why you want to see me now? You know, I'm busy. I have to deal with a lot of stuff. I better make it worth my while. Well, and I told him the story. What happened and where. Couldn't give perfect directions. Didn't have any information on who had done it. But I gave something instead. I gave descriptions of the things that had been stolen, in case those would be spotted and who was selling them. It was something. Better than nothing. I hoped anyways. Well, I had out of money. I had nowhere to sleep, nowhere to be. But I had hunted a deer. I had some meat and the hide. So, what did I do? I went to the butcher and sold it. I got a few silvers, not much, but enough to sleep in a bad inn and look for work tomorrow, which is exactly what I did. Why now? Well, the morning came. I woke up to the sunlight coming through the window and hitting my face. Opened my eyes, for a moment forgetting where I was. Felt like I was still in that forest, alone. The memories haunted me. But what could I do? I left to look for work. There was a guild house somewhere. Just needed to find it. They always needed people to do the cleanups in the forests. Beasts needed to be hunted. Robbers and murderers. So not only beasts that needed hunting, people too. Bad people. People I'd gladly take a life of. To save others, the innocent. I felt a fire in my belly. Even more so now than before. Those people didn't deserve to die. I didn't always appreciate Alfred and his choice. We truly were defenders. I still remember telling him that we'd be sitting ducks. And we were. But who knows? Maybe next time there will be something else, something more. It took me a while to reach the guild house. I eventually did. Walked up, waited in line to see the cleric. The room, it was quite nice. Classy, old wood, carved. It's quite spacious too. There was a lot of people in all the lines around me. Some returning jobs, collecting rewards, some making applications. I was one of those, making an application to join. I wouldn't be one of the caravan guards anymore. That time was behind me. Now it was time to do something else. Make sure others didn't face the fate that I had. And so I moved with the line towards the cleric, and eventually I reached it. Took a half an hour. It was a long wait. Hello there. How may I serve you? Well, I kinda would make an application to join the guild, you know. Well, why your credentials then? Well, I've been a caravan guard and a guard for several years now. But I feel like I'm ready to do something more. Alright then. Go on it. I need your name, previous occupation, place of residence, origins, you know the drill. Alright. I filled the papers, returned it. There will be a test. Physical one. You'll need to prove you can use that sword you're carrying. We ain't gonna take anybody here who doesn't know how to wield one. We don't need any more dead. Alright. When do I have to test? In a few hours. You'll have to wait. The weapons master is busy right now, so when he's ready, you'll get to meet him and test your metal. I recommend taking some time and getting ready until then. Thank you. I'll do that. 2 hours later, I was standing, simply waiting. There was a delay. It was only a few minutes. There you are. Follow me. I'll be taking you down to the back, and you'll be tested there. Alright. We walked down the corridor, downstairs, and out to the open backyard through the door. I have to say, the man was menacing. He was large, bulging almost. Didn't seem like he fit in his own skin. Scary. But what can I do? I don't get to decide who I'm being tested against. So there we were. That's the new one, the new guy. I see. A bit skinny for my liking, but what can you do? We always need new hunters. But, oh, lad, right here, stand in front of me. Take out your sword and hold it as you would. I did. I took a stance, a defensive one. It was always the stance I like to rely on. I wanted to learn first and then strike. I wasn't the aggressor. It wasn't my way. I see. Well, at least you know how to stand with the sword. But can you swing it? Can you fight? That's what we had to find out. So, I'll need you to survive for 1 minute. And if you can't, it'll be alright. And you'll be accepted. Understood? Understood. That was a very long 1 minute, I have to say. First, I took a step back, immediately, because he aggressed instantly. Step back, step to the side, deflected. Deflection wasn't enough. His sword came back instantly. When I blocked it again, he stepped in and passed me with the shield. Almost crumbled. Somehow I still held my stand. Barely though. It was difficult. He went high again. I went low, took the step to the side and swung my sword. The shield was there, earlier than I thought, and I felt the evaporations of it in my hands. Tough, like hitting a stone wall. Took another step, backed off as well, hoping to make some distance. Well, it was a question of time, but he wasn't waiting. He aggressed immediately, came forth from high. I blocked, stepped aside. I wasn't going to give him a chance to shield bash me again. My shoulder was still hurting from that. Took another step back. He followed. Didn't give me any space extra. Waited. I struck. My screw from low to high. Was a good swing. He blocked it again. I used the momentum, and went from up and around. We exchanged several hits in mere moments. 10 seconds passed, 15, 20. He wounded me 3 times, one my shoulder, my cheek, and my leg. He wasn't playing around, he was truly testing. In the end I survived the entire minute, but barely. I was not holding my own, I was barely surviving. Well, at least you know how to wield a sword, but not very well. It's enough, and better than some. So he'll do alright, for starters. He'll start from a low rank though. He won't be able to fight the others, or even crown for a while. That's all I had to say. I was too tired. That minute, it took more out of me than the past 10 days. That's how it felt in that moment. Like some immovable mountain had come crashing on me. I was bleeding, I was knackered, and aching from my bones. Sure, some of it might have been from the previous times. When I left, I was still bandaged, slightly. I was limping my leg, but it was enough to get to the tavern. I picked up a job to help some farmers with wolves. That's something at least. I'd be able to earn a little, especially if I got the hides in good condition. But that was for tomorrow. First I needed to rest and eat. Wouldn't have much money after that. Thankfully, the cuts weren't too deep, so they'd be alright. I'd be able to work at least. Something it wouldn't stop me from doing. And here we are. Standing in front of a farm. It's a small place. Some cattle, some sheep. Seemed to be some chicken too. A family of 3. A young one too. Newly married with a seemingly a 3-year-old. Newly married, maybe that was 3 years ago, but still seemed like a young couple. In any case, they were quite nice. They offered me some food, and explained the situation and where to find what I needed to find. So, I headed to the forest. And what happens there, we'll talk about in the next episode. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Enjoy your day. See you again soon.